I'm so glad you're here. It's Divine, and we're gonna have a conversation tonight about limerence. So I first started getting curious about what this was after seeing a TikTok.
I'm convinced that every single girl has that one guy that the guy either never liked them back or the guy just never gave them a chance, that like that girl will literally drop anything to be with.
Yeah, so that's called limerence. It's a thing. Limerence is a psychological term that you could think of as a really intense crush, but it goes beyond that. It almost borders obsession. Anyone can experience limerence of any age, any gender. It's not just women towards men. Typically, it is a romantic attraction that has not been reciprocated.
I wanted to dive deeper into that, like what is limerence and what are the characteristics, because I definitely had a severe crush on someone when I was a kid for like years. But before we get there, let's start with what limerence actually means. So limerence is the state of mind where you are obsessed with a person you desire who does not desire you back. In almost every case, the limerent object, which is what the essential crush would be called, does not desire the limerent back, which would be you with the obsession. My limerence started at the ripe age of 5 years old. I was so, I wouldn't say in love, because I don't think you know what love is at 5, but basically I grew up in a very small town, and I started kindergarten at 5.5, and this boy, I'm gonna call him Road, but technically he's the limerent object. But Road, he was such a cutie patootie. He had ginger hair, pale skin, green eyes, and freckles. And I don't know why I was so obsessed with him. I think because he was like the only and the first ginger person I've ever really seen in my life, because when I was 5, I immigrated here. So I was just so like, wow. I was like, this is Prince Charming. This is Jesus. This is literally Jesus Christ on earth. And it started from there. So limerence is truly an obsession, and you can experience it physically or cognitively. And I experienced it all, girl. Like, it was intense. That was an intense elementary life. But let's get into the first stage of limerence. So the first stage of limerence is infatuation. So that is when you are so infatuated with that person. For me, it started off with the physical infatuation of Road, and then it turned into an emotional connection, even though we never had one. In my mind, we did. I literally used to count the freckles on this person's face, like literally count freckles on his face. And when I drew pictures of him, I remember the details. He had 17 he had 17 freckles, guys. Okay, he had 17 freckles, and when I was drawing my little pictures of him, I used to put exactly 17 freckles on it. I don't know why Biba Doobie gets to do that and it's cute, but when I do it, I'm cuckoo. But honestly, I really was cuckoo because I was experiencing limerence. At stage 2 of limerence, you were in the obsessive phase, which is basically all of limerence. But it first starts with the infatuation, the curiosity of the person, and then you create the obsession. On Copley, I read obsessive stage is where a cute crush transforms into your emotions and it consumes all of you, creating this intense euphoric feeling when you're around that person or when you think about them. And this obsession always leads to, or almost always leads to, concerning behaviors like stalking. No wonder in my mind it felt like I had to know absolutely everything about Road. I used to remember his mom's truck. It was, I forget what type of Chevy it was. I don't know. That's crazy to include a picture, but we'll see. It was a Chevy truck. And to this day, I remember just the first 3 letters of the license plate because they were repetitive. It was SXS and then some numbers. And I would always remember that in traffic. I would like try any orange or bronze Chevy truck I seen. I'll try to look for that license plate to see if Road was in the car. Like, it was deeply cuckoo-ness. Like, I don't know what other word to describe, but I was like diabolical when I was obsessed with this kid. I even used to go stalk Facebook, and we were like young. This was probably like maybe third or second grade, but he didn't have a Facebook. I did, and I would follow his mom. His mom was a TA at the school, so I knew her name. I would follow her on Facebook. Well, I didn't follow her on Facebook. I just stalked her and would find every single photo of Road I could and zoom in on the picture and kiss the damn screen of the computer. Oh my God, I was like, that was my first kiss, was the computer screen of Road's face. Like, I was just not right in the head at the time, severely attention deprived, and just, there's so much stuff that fuels limerence, and we'll get towards that towards the end of the video, but it is just this huge, deep obsession with another person that does not desire you back, and the rejection of that is what is creating this limerence into such a severe emotion in your life, because you're like, why don't you like me back? But at the same time, you kind of know they won't ever like you back, and that is kind of where you get the euphoric feeling from being rejected. I don't even know, but it is intense, super intense. Third grade, when I was obsessed with limerence, when I was obsessed with Road, I used to try and hang out with him at recess time, and he would never want to hang out with me because I used to tease him a lot. I used to tease him about his freckles, even though I loved his freckles. And when he would ignore me, I would like pinch him, and from pinching him, it went from kicking him in his shin. And oh my God, let me tell you, this kid is super pale. So even if I kicked him just a little bit at his ankle, it will bruise. And his mom, like I said, she's a TA, so she's seeing all of this at recess time, and she's not okay with that at all. But did I care? No, because that is my man, and you can't tell me nothing about my man, okay? And it even became just so obsessive. Like, I used to write my last name, well, his name as my last name on my paper, like literally in class, or like in my diary at home. All these fantasies about getting married and living in this big house. Like, it was just so crazy because I was Cinderella and he was Prince Charming, and the world is our oyster. We're living in our castle. We have all of this money and luxury, and he's just for me. And that's you. It feels so real. When you're in limerence, it just feels so real. Stage 3 is elation and frustration stage. It's about emotional highs and lows and the intensity of your reaction when you are rejected by that person. And as I talked about in my obsessive stage, would kick Road, pinch him and tease him, and flat out just like bully him, and his mom was watching the whole entire time. One day I get pulled into the principal's office, and I go in the principal's office, I open the door, the principal's there, Road is there, and his mother is there. And the funny thing is, so the mom and the principal, they know each other. They're both gingers, and they both have freckles, and Road is a ginger, he has freckles. Like, this was just so, like, I don't even know. I've never seen that many ginger people in one space ever. Like I said, small town. I was like, oh my God. I felt like I was like, this is not a punishment, this is heaven. But basically, the principal talked about me, about how when we're at this age, we have crushes, and sometimes those feelings could be severe, and we could be like, you know, maybe taking it to the next level and bullying, which I was really bullying Road quite a bit, like intensely. I was like not really taking it seriously, because that was my man at the end of the day, and what are you ginger snaps gonna say? You know? So I was smirking the whole entire time, but at the end of the conversation, the principal made me apologize to Road, and I was laughing through the apology. Like, I was just like, because I was like talking to him so closely, and he was not moving away or trying to like shoo me away from him. And you know, I was like, I'm gonna take this opportunity to do the slowest apology ever, so I can stare into his eyes. Oh my god, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe this was my life for such a long period of time. But basically, I ended up apologizing to Rode, and you know, I cooled it for a long time. I felt like my obsession intensified if I had a class with Rode. So in grade 4, I didn't have a class with him. Or was it grade 2? No, in grade, I don't even know what grade anymore, but there was a gap year where I didn't have a class with him and I calmed down. But the following year I did, and I didn't do any of the physical bullying thing, but I still teased him and all that stuff. And it just always carried on. I remember one day that Rode, I guess, I don't know how it even happened, but all my friends knew I was like madly in love with him, and they were like bullying Rode into like dating me, and this was at recess time. So Rode said fine, and he reluctantly, like, he was so like uptight. He's like, do you want to go out with me, Divyne? Like, he was just like not okay. I was like screaming to the top of the heavens. I did a cartwheel, I did a somersault in the playground, I went on the monkey bars, did some tricks on there. I was just so excited, and the whole recess I was like up Rode's butt. I wouldn't leave him alone, and you know, that was like my boyfriend. I'll let the bell ring at the end of recess. Me and Rode, we come inside. He turns towards me, he's like, I'm breaking up with you, storms away. And I was like, oh my gosh. My friends came up to me and they hugged me. They're like, oh, we're so sorry, Divyne. Like, are you okay? And they were comforting me. And I think I shed like a couple tears. But then I was like, you know what? That was the best recess of my life. And they started like freaking out and jumping around. Like, I was just something else. I was experiencing limerence. And I'm so glad that at the end of the day, I experienced that at a young age, because youth definitely helps prove some innocence. Because if I was doing this at like in our adult years, I would be like locked up. Like stalking as I did, physically harming him, bullying, like all that stuff. I would literally have to be sent away somewhere. But that was how stage number 3 went for me. And the final stage of limerence is resolution stage. So it's where two things can either happen. So it's either you accept reality that they're not gonna like you, they're not gonna date you or see you, or you continue with the fantasy that they are, and you're gonna get married and live happily ever after, and really just continue your mental torture. For me to get over my limerence with Rode was literally moving to another city. And no, I didn't move because I was being mean to Rode or whatever. Just like my family, we moved that year, and I didn't return back to the city Rode was in until grade 7, and I was completely done with Rode. I like forgotten about him. Like, that distance definitely like helped the emotions I was feeling, and also like I grew up. Like, you can grow out of limerence, I think, especially if it happened to you so young. When I came back to the city, I never thought about Rode. I rarely even saw him, but the first time I saw him was at this festival thing we have here, and he made eye contact with me. I made eye contact with him, and I just like stared at him. I didn't say anything. He just kind of like booked it the other way. I'm like, really? How many fucking years has it been? Why are you so terrified? Why are you so scared of me? Little me, what am I gonna do now? Like, I was over my limerence, but clearly I like bothered this kid so much. Like, he just was like not having it, and I don't blame him, but like from literally 5th grade and on, I never ever bothered Rode. But like I said, we live in such a small town, so we ended up going to the same junior high and same high school. So in high school, we have this thing called grad sleepover. So it's where all of the grads that year, we go to this like big open field or like a barn, and we're allowed to like drink and like listen to music and have fun. So one of the volunteers at the grad sleepover was Rhode's mom. I don't know if I should nickname her or anything, I don't know. But yeah, Rhode's mom was there, and she had to like check me in because we need our like tickets or whatever to like go to the grad sleepover thing. And she looked at my name on the thing and looked at my face, and she's like, have fun, Divyne. And I was like, I will, or something like that. I was like, thank you. I probably said thank you because I was in my polite era, mature era, okay? Like, I literally changed so much after I moved away. So I go into the party and Rhode's there, and like I said, never bothered Rhode since grade 5. So I was like, didn't care about him. I had a different crush at the time, but I was not experiencing limerence. I was just having a regular healthy crush on this one guy. But you know, I kind of felt like grad is, you know, we're about to graduate high school and I just didn't want to leave anything in the air. So I went up to Rhode and basically I was like, I just want to say I'm so sorry for this is so funny. Oh, okay, it's not funny. It's very mature. It's very good that I did this, and I'm such an angel for doing it. But it was what I was supposed to do forever ago. So I apologized, and I gave them a sincere apology, and I'm like, so sorry I like bullied you in elementary, and I was just so crazy. And he's like, it's okay. I accept your apology. Like, we're both like literally old as fuck now. So like, yeah, so we just kind of got over it. Well, I felt peace with myself because that's something I needed to do. Like, it was always weight on my conscience because like I'm not that girl. And the thing is, when my mom got a phone call that I got pulled into the principal office, she's like, what the hell? Because at home, believe it or not, I was good. I never got spanked as a kid by my mom because I was good. I listened at home. So she was always confused, like when I was getting these calls from home, like, why the heck are you being bad at school? Because I could get away with it, okay? So that's why I was bad at school. You know what? I made peace with the situation and you just grow from it. Like, limerence is like a deep thing. Like, it's so deep that some psychiatrists were like, this needs to be like a mental illness diagnosis, but I guess there's not enough proof, so they haven't like actually whatever book of mental illnesses, they haven't like included in that. So they just see it as an obsessive, big, huge crush. But some people with limerence do the extreme. When I was reading Reddit, you don't want to read Reddit at all most of the time, but there's some people like literally like stalking the heck out of people, like literally going to their house, stealing their clothes, underwear, hairbrush, toothbrush, will brush their teeth with it to feel like they're kissing the person, like some psychotic shit. Like, I was pretty innocent for my limerence just because I was younger, so that's what kind of helped me there. That is my story of limerence, and you know, I ended up curing myself with time and distance away from Rhode, and I'm no longer obsessed. I'm for sure cured. And I know some of you will be like, this is your first YouTube video posted on your page, are you sure you're cured? Because seems a little obsessed, but I am cured. I have been cured since 5th grade, okay? Why I posted this video as my first video is because I was supposed to post a YouTube video forever, so like when I was 12. I just feel like a lot of people experience limerence and you don't have to. Like, now there's not anyone that I give a fuck about or ever like really cared so deeply to be so obsessed over, and I'm just so glad because limerence is like takes a huge toll on your mental health and your self-worth and all this stuff, and you can't blame anyone but yourself. So if you're experiencing limerence,
stop it. Get some help.
Please reach out to someone, a doctor, psychiatrist, some professional, or really just finding yourself to like stop feeling those intense emotions to those people. Create distance, stop writing about them, stop stalking them. Out of sight, out of mind usually helps a lot. It's okay to have a cute little crush, but not be in a limerence state, okay? And I don't know, maybe you guys learned something, maybe you didn't, and you just got some information. But thanks for watching. See you in my next video, which won't be about Rhode, because I'm not obsessed still, I'm cured.
Bye, bitch.